Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Immigrate with Ammy. Today is everything express entry profile creation. We've got a lot of emails on how to create and have an express entry profile for Canada immigration. This video is an A to Z tutorial on how you can create and have one for your Canada immigration. For your information, we'll be launching a course on how you can move to Canada using different pathways without the help of anyone, not even an agent. It is called a do-it-yourself course. We'll be taking you by the hand, leading you through it all, showing you all the documents required depending on the pathway you want to use. It's something that you should look out for. It's going to be beneficial to you. Guys, with all the information we have on our table regarding Canada immigration, right, it's very impossible for you not to move to Canada if you are serious with your Canadian journey. Of course, it's not going to be easy, right? But then, if you put your mind to it, you'll be achieving a lot before the end of this year. There are a lot of opportunities daily, and we would like you guys to be part of it. My husband will walk you through how you can create and have one for yourself, and we will also drop the link in the video description. All you have to do is to click on the link, read or scroll down to the end, and you will have all the links talked about in the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit the subscribe button below and ensure that your bell notification is turned on so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Please give this video a massive thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend it to others. It's a good way of supporting my channel. You can also share my videos with your friends and your loved ones, and keep watching.
Hello guys, you're welcome to Immigrate with Ammy. Today we want to talk about express entry, which I usually call the mother of all immigration pathways to Canada. It's still the broadest immigration program so far. There are other programs as well that actually has a way of linking up with the express entry program. For example, if you are applying for provincial nomination program and then you maybe get a provincial nomination from one of the provinces, you will still need to actually come back to your express entry profile and then complete your application through that profile. So even though a province gives you a nomination, what it actually does to you is that it gives you a lot of points that adds onto what you have on your express entry profile, and which more or less automatically qualifies you for the federal government to give you an invitation to apply when next they are doing the rounds. Okay, so I mean, it's like the foundation. Okay, so express entry is like the foundation on which other immigration programs are actually built. Okay, in this video we are going to be talking about how you can create an express entry profile on the Canada immigration portal. Many people have actually been asking us, to do a video on how to do this. If you need more or less a one-on-one consultation, or you need help creating your profile, you can actually reach out to us and we can do it together. Okay, but at least in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how you can create your express entry profile. When you talk about the express entry profile, or when you talk about the express entry system, it's a point-based system. What that means is that there are certain eligibility criteria, and each of those criteria has a point attached to it. How you measure against those criteria is what will determine the point that you get in each of those areas. There is point, for example, for your age as at when you are applying. There is point for your highest educational credential attained. There is point for your English language proficiency or French language proficiency. There is point for your family structure. For example, if you are married, because if you are married and your wife is also coming with you and your wife writes the English or French language proficiency test, it also has a way of impacting on your point, so there's a point for that. Also, if you have link with Canada, so if you have like immediate family in Canada, like maybe a brother or a sister in Canada, that actually also adds to your point. And then if you've had work experience in Canada, all right, that adds to your point. If you have studied in Canada, that adds to your point. So the overall score, which is called the CRS score, the comprehensive ranking score, that you would get is a combination of what you score in each of these criteria factors. Okay, so that's just by the way. All right, so now if you want to create an express entry profile, what are you supposed to do? So what are the steps? That is actually the focus of this video. So the first thing that you would need to do before you'll be able to create an express entry profile is for you to actually register an account on the Canada immigration website. Okay, so without registering an account, you cannot have an express entry profile. That's the first thing. What I'm showing you right now on the screen is the Canada immigration website, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you can first create an account on that portal. So if you go to the home site, which is canada.ca, look for immigration and citizenship, click on it, and then under immigration and citizenship, click on my application. So once you click on my application, it brings you to this particular page. You will have that option to actually register for a new secure account from which you can now go ahead to create your express entry profile. Okay, so in registering, you can do it in two ways. The first one, so they give you two options. The first one is to register with what they call a GC key, and then the second option is for you to register with a sign-in partner. Registering with a sign-in partner is for people who are already within Canada. Okay, so if you are outside Canada and this is new for you, it's the first time you are doing this, you have to use the option of registering with a GC key. Okay, so how do you register with a GC key? Basically, if you go further down on that same page, they will show you how you can register with a GC key. So there are certain steps. It's about 9 steps. So what you'll be doing, there's a tab here for you to click on register with a GC key. What I would say is that before you click on that, you should open that on a new tab, because you would need this set of instructions here for you to be able to carry out those steps successfully. Okay, so make sure you have this tab open, and then you have a set of instructions that you would need to follow. It's 9 of them. So you click on register below, which is this. Okay, you click on sign up, you read the terms and conditions, and then you click I accept, create a username, click continue, create a password, click continue, create your security questions and responses, click continue to get to the sign up complete page, read the terms and conditions, click I accept, and then enter your information and follow the steps to create your account. So basically what you have to do is to go through these 9 steps. After you have completed these 9 steps, then you would have successfully created an account on the Canada immigration website. Okay, and with those accounts, you would have a login credential, so your username and your password, and anytime you need to do anything like creating an express entry profile, you will first have to sign in with those credentials. So basically, this is the first step before you can create an express entry profile. Okay, so once you have this done, the next thing is for you to get the requirement for you to create an express entry profile, and I will show you a PowerPoint presentation where I have actually highlighted the requirement that you need to get before you can create an active express entry profile. Okay, so let's check out that presentation. So guys, in this short presentation, okay, I'm going to show you what are the requirements that you need to get before you can create an express entry profile on the Canada immigration portal. The first thing is that you need a valid language proficiency test result which is less than 2 years old. So I put IELTS here because it's the commonest English language test that people write, but there are other proficiency tests acceptable by Canada immigration. And then if you're a French speaker or you have French language proficiency, you can also write one of the French language proficiency tests. Now, if you are bilingual, meaning you have English and French proficiency test result, then you should actually attempt to write the 2 tests because it actually gives you more points, okay, for your profile. Okay, so you need a valid language proficiency test result, which is the first one, and it must be less than 2 years old. So you must have written the test at a period less than 2 years ago. Okay, the second one is that for you to show proof of your education if you didn't study in Canada, then you would need to do what they call credential assessment in Canada. So there are certain organizations that actually perform that function of assessing your credential and then giving you a report of the assessment. One of them is WES. Okay, so you would need to go to WES or to the other credential assessment bodies, and then they will assess your foreign certificate and give you a Canadian equivalency of that certificate. Okay, so you would need to have completed that. Once you do it, the credential assessment report is actually valid for 5 years. Okay, so if you have one that is less than 5 years, you can still use it to create an active express entry profile. Okay, so you would need to also do that, which is the second requirement. The third requirement is you need a valid travel document, in this case a valid passport. The next thing is that if you are married and your spouse will be accompanying you to Canada, then the best thing that you can do is for your spouse to also have a valid language proficiency test result and a credential assessment if it is applicable to you. That is, if you have a spouse or a common law partner. Okay, so now it doesn't mean that if you have a spouse, it doesn't mean that they have to do this. It is advisable that they do these two things. The reason is because if they don't do that, it's going to lower the score that you're going to get on your profile. So if your spouse has credential assessment completed and has a valid language proficiency test result, you are going to gain additional point for that. Okay, so but of course it's your choice if you want your spouse or if you agree with your spouse to do that or not. Okay, but it's always advisable for your spouse to also have the language test result and the credential assessment report. Okay, the last thing that you would need to know ahead of time before you can create the express entry profile is the NOC code of your profession. So in Canada, every profession has a national occupation code. You would need that code ahead of time, and I'm going to be giving you the link for you to check out what your NOC code is in Canada in the video description. So basically, guys, these are the requirements that you need to gather before you can open an express entry profile. To continue the video, this is the place in the Canada immigration website where you can check out what your NOC code is. I will drop the link in the video description, but if you go to the page and then you go down, you would see where you can actually find the NOC code for all of the jobs. So you would need to check out what your job category is and then see the respective NOC code. Okay, so it's a lot of pages. Okay, so you need to go from one page to other until you can find your own NOC code. Finally, once you have all the requirements and once you have created an account on the Canada immigration portal, you would now have to go through the process of creating an express entry profile for yourself and your family. Okay, so you can do that right on this page. Also, from the home page, you go to immigration and citizenship and then you go to immigrate to Canada. Once you click on immigrate to Canada, you will come to this page where it says immigrate through express entry. If you go down on that page, okay, if you go down on that page, in the services and information section, one of the options is submit your express entry profile here. So if you click on it, okay, it brings you to another page where you will now be able to start the process of creating your express entry profile. You would see fill out the online form. If you go down a little bit, the first thing is for you to go through it. It's like a questionnaire. Okay, so you would need to answer a series of questions for you to be able to find out if you are eligible to create an express entry profile or to have one. Okay, so the first thing that you should do is for you to click on this link which says find out if you're eligible. Okay, it's important that you do that first before you go ahead to create an express entry profile. So they're going to ask you a series of questions in the questionnaire about your nationality, your age, your language proficiency or language ability, your family members, your education, your work experience, and then details on any job offer. Okay, so it's a questionnaire that you will answer, from one page to another. So to start the questionnaire, you have to click on this check your eligibility. So once you click on it, it brings you to this page where you have the questionnaire. Okay, so the first thing is it's going to ask you, for example, which province do you want to settle in, or which province are you most interested in at this point in time. If you have one, of course, click on it, but it doesn't really matter. Later on, once your profile has been set up, you can actually select the provinces you are interested in. Okay, so you would select, for example, British Columbia, and then you click on next. It will keep taking you from one question to another until you complete the questionnaire. At the end of the questionnaire, it will tell you exactly if you are eligible to apply for express entry or not. After you have completed all of the details, then you would now be able to go to the next step of creating your express entry profile. It's as simple as that. It's just a series of questions. Now, once that express entry profile has been set up, from your express entry profile, you will now have different tabs where you can go in and then fill up those information. For example, your work experience, what you scored in each of the sections of the language proficiency test, your family structure, and all of that. Okay, so you can always go to your profile to make changes on the profile. What if anything changes in your profile? So imagine that you completed another education which is higher than the one you used for your profile. You can always go to update it. Imagine that you decide to write another language proficiency test. Maybe you scored higher mark. You can go back there and actually edit it. Okay, so the profile only becomes locked when you get an invitation to apply. Now, the last thing I would like to actually mention here is that when you are creating your profile, make sure that all of the information there is correct and they are factual, because if you receive an invitation to apply based on those selection or based on those answers that you provided, you would need to show documentation for those proof that you have claimed in your express entry profile. Okay, so guys, basically this is how to create an express entry profile. You can follow the steps, but if you need more information or you need one-on-one support, please reach out to Immigrate with Ammy. The link to actually request that service is also in the video description. Thank you so much guys for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.